In my opinion, as a leader, there are three things that I would say it's a fundamental for a leader to have, which is firstly, self-awareness, number two, effective communication, and number three, responsible for the world. Right. So what are these three things? So firstly, self-aware. So what does self-aware mean? Self-aware is talking about this individual itself or a leader itself to know what the person is capable to do and what they are incapable to do. Because being self-aware is important because you will know what are the things that you can do. Because as you are a leader, definitely you are working in a team. And when you have a team, a leader itself should know that what I can do and what others can do also. Like for example, I realize my strength itself, I can coordinate people very well. But the thing is, I may not be someone who can finish my task very well or complete things on time. So in my team, I recognize that this is my weakness, and I know that I need someone in my team which can help me to follow up on my weakness itself. Being self-aware is important because you know that what I can do as a person and what others can actually come and help you in the team itself. Right. Then the next thing itself is effective communication. And what is effective communication? As mentioned, communication is a two-way thing, right? So that we communicate with each other. So effective communication is like to deliver your information to the other parties and also you yourself to receive it properly. It's important to have effective communication is because throughout these processes, there's a lot of operations that you need to go through working in a team. You know, like for example, like you can see in our daily assignments like that, right? I ask you, okay, so this individual A, you do part A, and then individual B do part B. But if let's say in terms of communications, the message that is being delivered is like sublime or vague, right? They will be like, what are you trying to tell me? So effective communication is very important. Okay, it's like, yes, it has to be very clear and to be direct in your communication, and also to get feedback from others. And last but not least, responsible for the world. So seems like a very big word, responsible for the world, right? Like the world, the whole global in charge. No, but the world actually has a very personal definition to each and every individual itself. The world may sometimes mean to some people, not like your parents. Our children means the world to us. So yeah, this is similar definition. So the world may actually be defined by how does each individual define the world itself. It's actually taking ownership on what you want to do, because currently, as a leader, I believe that we also need to be action driven to do things instead of just seeing and complaining itself. Because as you can see, youth these days, instead of doing something, they just often complain about what we have, what we don't have. But the thing is, what are we doing in this to play our part to tackle these problems? So yeah, being responsible, meaning to take ownership that once we realize, okay, for example, realize that in UMP, there's a lot of people throwing rubbish everywhere. So what are you going to do as a student? You know, maybe start off a campaign to clean the place, or to actually you yourself as an individual to pick up the rubbish and throw it yourself. So these are actually being responsible for the world. The world again, which is actually defined by your own personal context itself. So for challenges, there are, I would say, I can break this down into two types of challenges, which is challenges which goes on internally and also externally. Internally meaning that how that you yourself as an individual would actually feel or face during these challenges itself. Like the internal challenge sometimes would be maybe in terms of your motivational level, and also in terms of like self-doubt. You know, like for example, sometimes a decision is made based on your call itself, and somehow that decision didn't work out well. Some crises happen, problems happen, and then that will actually cause some self-doubt to yourself. Like for example, normally we tend to blame ourselves, okay, like because of me, the whole team is now in trouble, and because of my decision, something happened there and it's all my fault. Yeah, this actually cause self-doubt and also your own personal motivational level to drop. Maybe I just move on to the external challenges also. I would say that if let's say we are working in a team, what are the biggest challenges to me as a president is actually dealing with people itself. Because each person itself have a very different expectation setting, and it's not easy to meet up to the expectations. So it's very hard to meet up to a lot of expectations. So it deals a lot with people people-related challenges. So it's very hard to meet up to these things. Of course, there are other external challenges. Once you are in an organization or a club itself, and then maybe you start to deal with other partners, sometimes university administration, other externals like companies, NGOs, there are a lot of stuff. How do we actually manage these challenges, right? Probably, to put it generally, it's always important to have a support system itself. So what is a support system? Support system is, to me, defined by me, is like somebody who can actually be there to support you. It's always important as someone who is working in a team or maybe individual itself to have someone to listen to your problems and to share on your matters itself, and later maybe get a feedback or get someone to coach you, to mentor you, and also to give you a different perspective on things. Because in challenges, as I said, there are internal and external problems that you'll be facing, and we might tend to look at the problem at one side. So we need someone to always be there to listen to your problems and to tell you what to do, or to really coach you on what can you really do after this. So in this situation, I would say that I normally prioritize according to which time is most important. Now, of course, we as students, we know when is the time for you to study, because for example, if let's say quiz or assignments or test time to come, right, definitely your focus has to be there. But of course, as a student, your main priority to come to university is to study, not to do any other stuff. Okay, so I would say that the dot itself will always be in the study region. Okay, so what do I compromise is always my sleep or my social. I would say that in this social context is Isaac itself, where I attend, like you say, the conference meetings or all the other operational stuff. So if let's say I move on to Isaac, then I lose all my sleep. This is not something that I would like to advise everyone to do, but this is what I normally do, because I realize I prioritize a lot on my studies and my social life, so I take very little sleep. It's not easy to manage the time, because when the moment comes when I would say that sometimes even studies itself, right, not counting social life, studies itself may even take up some time of your sleep. Like, sometimes when the test and quiz week comes, right, there is so many tests, so many assignments, so many quiz that is due during those duration, and you have to really sacrifice on your sleep already. And not forgetting there's Isaac there in my picture itself. So you'll be losing a lot of sleep on that part, which is unhealthy. But it's always a personal decision whether how do you want to manage your time to excel on what the things you want to do. If let's say in my perspective, right, there is no one who is just become a leader for the first time. When you were a kid, let's say maybe your elder brother when they do something, or when you do something, does the younger one follow the elder one? Like, for example, let's say I scream and then later the other kid also scream, and you do something, they follow.
Yes.
Does that happen? Yep. So similarly, this is actually some part of leadership, because when you are doing something, someone follows you. So similarly in the context, I would say that everyone is a leader itself, no matter how young or old you are. Similarly now, what we do, for example, we tend to, let's put a very simple example. Suddenly you start to pick up rubbish on the floor. Later a kid see you, and then the kid is like somehow very excited to see, what is this person doing? I also want to follow. This you follow, and then somehow you are actually a leader itself already. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to lead a team to become a leader. How is it that you yourself as an individual, you are leading yourself? This is called about self-leadership. How are you carrying yourself? How are you branding yourself towards your peers and towards to the people around you? Okay. But if let's say you want to talk about someone who is maybe elected or put in a new leadership position for the first time, like for example, previously you have not been in a director, vice president, or president post, and then they are there for the first time. So my advice to them is a word that we Isaacers like to use: go bang wall. So what does bang wall mean? This is an illustration to say that don't be afraid to fail and fall down. I would say that once even happens to me myself, previously as a vice president and even currently as a president, when you are in a new role itself in a leadership position, you are, I would say, at times very directionless, and you do not know what to do. And of course, you cannot stay in the same spot, and you have to constantly move on. Okay, and when you move on and when you are directionless, just imagine yourself walking in a room, in a maze, filled with walls and it's pitch black, which is like directionless. So eventually you will bang wall here and there. But then once you bang wall, you will fall down and you will hurt. But what will you do after that? Itself is, like I said, keep going, keep banging walls. Although it hurts, although you will fall down, it will be so difficult, but you have to keep on standing up and to go. And then eventually, once you know how to, once you bang so many walls, these are the experiences that you've gained. And through these experiences, you are able to maybe lead someone else to walk in the correct direction, because you know, okay, once you bang a wall, you know that in the left side there's a wall or on the right side there's a wall. So you can actually lead someone to, you know, okay, there's a wall in the right side, so be careful. You know, it's a warning that you can give to others. And throughout these experiences, once you bang so many walls, eventually you will just reach your end goal in the end. Yep. That's how I would say that as a leader, don't be afraid to fail and just continue to move on. But of course, in a team itself, you have always acknowledge that your team is very important to support you from the back. Okay, because maybe I can just quote this thing that I've found this quote itself. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, go with your team.
It is roles, means that we are in what they call, it is not just in working environment that that have a leadership in everywhere, in any situations, that that will be leadership roles. Means that our parents, okay, our father, okay, they should have leadership so that they can manage their community, their family. Okay, so what we are focusing is leadership in an office. But then, don't be confused that leadership is everywhere, not only in the office. I'm asking you whether what's different, leader and manager. Yes, it is true that leader, they have the credibility, and also people want to follow them. Okay, so manager, it can be managed, but then they can't be a good leader because they only manage. That's what you said. But then most managers are a leader because they are leads a unit in an organization. Okay. Then a leader should have to think strategically, strategically thinking. They should have a vision, what they want to be, what they are going to do. They should know that as a leader.
Should have aim.
Yeah. The target. They should know what's the target, and they should know how to develop the strategy. Okay, they should know how to get there. They know how to empower. They give the power to their subordinates to do the things, meaning the trust there. They work in trust. Okay, maksudnya bukan leader buat serba-serbi. Okay, leader leads. But then dia bagi kuasa kepada subordinate, staff dia, seliaan dia untuk make a decision. But then the subordinate has to report to him lah. It is all about trust. The word is trust. Bahasa Melayu dia apa? Kepercayaan. Okay. If we are trust somebody, we will follow everything that they ask we to do. So the word is trust. If you want to become a leader, you have to develop trust among your team. Your team member must have trust on you. Okay, so that's the challenge lah. It's not easy untuk orang percaya pada kita, kan? Untuk ikut apa yang kita kata, kan? But some leader they have the vision, but team members kadang-kadang dia tak nampak the visions that apa yang leader dia nampak. Okay, so how the leader nak make all the team members trust on what he is doing, that one is the challenge. Okay, then of course lah kita nak menggunakan kuasa tersebut as a leader. Okay, some kita ada kuasa yang kita panggil kita punya personal power, which is kita punya credibility kita as a leader. Meaning that kalau kita tengok Tun Mahathir, dia memang born as a leader. Kita nampak ada punya karakter dia. Okay, meaning dia kalau kita tengok memang sesuai lah jadi leader, kan? They have the ciri-ciri as a leader. But then kita have another power, iaitu kita panggil authority power, iaitu kuasa yang diberikan di atas jawatan kita. Okay, so that's why lah leaders sometimes they have to use both. We as a Muslim, of course, kita jangan lupa yang mencipta kita. Please always be him. Meaning, even sibuk macam mana sekalipun, okay, kita kena tak tinggalkan yang 5 waktu, okay, buat perkara yang wajib yang perlu kita buat, okay. Dan pada masa yang sama juga, kita sentiasa menasihati team members kita do the same thing, okay. Tak ada istilah ortodoks bila kita ni terlampau mementingkan keagamaan. Meaning that basic in Islam as a Muslim. Okay, tak ada orang kata kita ketinggalan zaman ke, no. Okay, that one is the first thing lah. Okay, dan always remember that Allah will always be with you. Okay, dan every challenge Allah takkan bagi pada kita selagi dia percaya kita boleh atasi cabaran tersebut. Okay, whatever in you punya situation as a student kan, you dah have tried yourself, dah kata kerja keras, okay, result pun masih kata rendah ke apa, but then everything yang kita buat, kita kena letak effort yang sepatutnya, dan kita tawakal. But then bila kita pun dapat result yang tak seperti kita nak, jangan frust, sebab everything kita dah cuba kan. So bila kita sentiasa ingat ada sesuatu yang sentiasa bersama kita, kita tak akan terasa demotivate, kita tak akan buat benda-benda yang ngarut lah. Kita akan sentiasa ingat. Okay, and other is kita always lah, kita bila team members kita sentiasa buat positive attitude, project positive attitude among team members. Okay, kita kena ada clear goals, kita jelaskan dengan dia dari segi matlamat organisasi apa, jadi dia faham, okay, apa yang organisasi nak, okay, dan juga open communication, means that kita two ways communications, it's not one way communications. Not only a leader speaks, but then kita boleh dengar juga apa subordinates punya voice. Okay, open for communication. And also praise and correct employees. Praise kepada pengalaman, dan kita kena sensitif. Okay, kita kena tahu, okay, how to lead. Kalau shy, dia seorang yang pemalu, become a leader, it should be no problem. As long as dia boleh wujud kepercayaan among team members dia boleh communicate dengan baik dengan team members dia boleh make a clear goal, okay, dia nampak pathway di mana team members dia kena pergi, dia boleh show everything, it should be no problem. Dia shy ke apa ke, sometimes shy people is better than orang yang extrovert. You have to be trust lah. Okay, confident on yourself dan be yourself. Okay, be yourself. So, tak pula kita nak kata jadi leader, kita must be macam cerita drama kan. But then to be yourself. To be yourself. Okay.